It is the smallest country in Southeast Asia and has become one of the world's leading financial centers. Although surrounded by the sea, Singapore is one of the few places where the shoreline is rarely the reason people come. Time flies at a mad pace each day. But even at such a late hour, it is perfectly normal to walk through clean streets without being afraid. There are no natural resources here whatsoever. Yet millions of people around the globe dream of making this country their home and building a future. It's a story about everyday life in Singapore, a story that rarely makes headlines. Surrounded by some of Southeast Asia's busiest waters, Singapore stands at one of the world's most important maritime crossroads, linking the economies of Asia with the rest of the globe. With no land borders, and a total area of just over 700 square kilometers, this island nation is the smallest country in Southeast Asia. Yet its modest size is matched by an influence that reaches far beyond its shores. Today, Singapore is recognized for the striking skyline of Marina Bay, the futuristic landscapes of gardens by the Bay, Changi Airport, repeatedly named among the world's best, and a public transportation system admired for its speed, efficiency, and reliability. Singapore is more than its iconic landmarks and global achievements. Every day, millions of people wake up, go to work, raise their families, and build their future on this small island, creating the energy and spirit that continue to shape the Singapore the world knows today. But understanding Singapore takes more than looking at its location or its importance on a map. The real story of this island nation is found in the lives of its people, in the way they wake each morning, move through the city, go to work, and carve out a place for themselves on a small piece of land surrounded by the sea. None. Here, in this island nation, the days start early. The HDB estates are alive long before the city is fully awake. Lights in apartment windows show. Parents are ready to take their children to school. Nearby hawker centers have breakfast stalls ready to serve the first customers of the day. As commuters rush off to another busy day, the smell of kopi, kaya toast, and freshly cooked dishes wafts through the morning air. Day after day, train after train, thousands of people are brought into the city center via the MRT network. Students in tidy uniforms, office workers with bags on their shoulders. Together, they create a morning rhythm that has become a part of everyday life in Singapore. In a country with limited space and constant competition, time is seen as one of the most valuable assets in life. Weekdays are generally busy with work, study, and keeping up with a world that doesn't stop. The pace starts to slow down on the weekends and evenings. In parks, old people practice Tai Chi under the trees. Friends meet in shopping malls. Families slow down just long enough to enjoy something increasingly rare: simply being together after a busy week. Singapore is a modern city that moves to its own beat, fast, efficient, and always looking forward. But beyond the crowded trains, the bright skyline, the stresses of the daily grind, another pulse beats gently within the home. It lives in family dinners around the same table. In generations looking after each other, in quiet acts of support that have been a feature of daily life in Singapore for decades. Amid the fast pace of one of the world's most modern cities, many Singaporeans still find stability and a sense of belonging. Shaped by generations of Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Eurasian communities, family life in Singapore blends Asian traditions with the realities of a modern nation. Society continues to evolve, but for many people, home is still where they turn first. In many Singaporean families, care is passed from one generation to the next. Grandparents help raise young children. Parents devote themselves to giving their sons and daughters the best possible start in life. Years later, those children often find themselves caring for the parents who once cared for them. It is a quiet cycle that continues even as life outside moves at an extraordinary pace. Singapore has long viewed strong families as the foundation of a stable society. Preserving those relationships is not simply a cultural ideal. It is also supported through national policies designed to strengthen family life. Nearly 80% of Singapore's population lives in HDB apartments, public housing that is planned, managed, and subsidized by the government. Many housing policies are designed to help families live closer together, allowing generations to stay connected as the city continues to evolve. Yet perhaps no place captures Singapore's community spirit more clearly than the open spaces on the ground floor of these buildings, known as void decks. On one day, a Malay wedding may fill the space with music, laughter, and hundreds of guests. A few days later, the very same place may quietly host a Chinese funeral, where family members take turns keeping watch beside a loved one through the night. But the true meaning of a void deck is found not only in life's biggest moments. It lives in the quiet routines that return every single day. Older neighbors gather for an afternoon conversation. Children race beneath the buildings where they are growing up. Familiar faces greet one another while walking home after work. Around the world, community life often grows around historic squares, old streets, or neighborhood markets. In Singapore, those same connections are built beneath HDB apartment blocks, the place most Singaporeans simply call home. Within these diverse neighborhoods, different traditions and ways of life have grown alongside one another for generations. Together, they have shaped the distinct cultural identity that makes Singapore unlike anywhere else. Covering little more than 700 square kilometers, Singapore is home to one of the most diverse societies in Asia. Ethnic Chinese make up the majority of the population, while Malay, Indian, and Eurasian communities continue to shape the country's identity in their own ways. Over the years, millions of people from around the world have also chosen to live, study, and build their careers here. Rather than blending into a single culture, each community has preserved its own identity. That heritage can still be seen throughout the city's neighborhoods, places of worship, and everyday life. Together, these cultures have given Singapore a character unlike any other. Together, they have created a cultural identity unlike any other. Perhaps that is why racial harmony is seen as more than a national slogan. It is a value that has been passed from one generation to the next. Every year, on the 21st of July, schools across Singapore observe Racial Harmony Day. For one day, classrooms become a celebration of the nation's diversity. Students arrive wearing traditional Chinese, Indian, and Malay clothing instead of their usual school uniforms. They share traditional foods, learn simple greetings in one another's languages, and reflect on the racial riots of 1964, a painful chapter in Singapore's history that continues to remind each new generation why unity should never be taken for granted. That same spirit can be felt throughout everyday life, especially during Singapore's many festivals. Few places in the world celebrate so many different cultural and religious traditions throughout the year. On the same small island, the sound of temple bells, Hindu prayers, the call to prayer from nearby mosques, and church bells all become part of the city's daily rhythm. Each community celebrates its own sacred holidays, yet those celebrations have gradually become part of the life of the entire nation. For the Chinese community, Lunar New Year is the most important celebration of the year. Chinatown is transformed by thousands of red lanterns, while the steady beat of lion dance drums echoes through streets filled with families and visitors. As night falls, the celebration grows even larger with Qinghai, Singapore's biggest street parade. Giant floats roll through the city, followed by stilt walkers, lion and dragon dancers, drummers, and performers representing many different cultures. Over time, Qinghai has grown far beyond a Lunar New Year celebration. Today, it stands as one of the country's strongest symbols of multicultural Singapore. If Lunar New Year is filled with reunion, color, and celebration, Thaipusam offers a completely different experience. Before sunrise, Hindu devotees begin a quiet pilgrimage toward the temple, accompanied by the sound of drums and prayers. Many carry beautifully decorated kavalis across their shoulders. Some choose an even greater act of devotion, allowing metal hooks and skewers to pierce their skin as an expression of faith, repentance, and gratitude to Lord Murugan. The celebrations do not end there. Throughout the year, Hari Raya Puasa, Deepavali, Vesak Day, and many other religious festivals continue to shape the rhythm of life across Singapore. Each festival brings its own colors, aromas, and sounds, giving the city a different character throughout the year. Singapore's cultural diversity has also shaped one of Asia's most remarkable food cultures, where Chinese, Malay, Indian, and many other culinary traditions come together on a single island. Nowhere is that more evident than at the country's hawker centers, the beating heart of everyday dining in Singapore. The sound of sizzling woks never seems to stop. Smoke rises from freshly grilled satay, while the rich aroma of kopi mingles with the buttery sweetness of kaya toast, served with eggs, a breakfast that has started the day for generations of Singaporeans. Just a few steps away, plates of Hainanese chicken rice disappear from the counter almost as quickly as they are prepared. The chicken is poached, then immediately chilled in ice water to preserve its silky skin. The rice is just as important. Cooked in chicken broth with garlic, pandan leaves, and chicken fat, every grain is infused with flavor. At another table, friends gather around a steaming plate of chili crab, one of Singapore's most iconic dishes. Sweet, succulent crab is coated in a thick sauce made from tomatoes, chili, and egg, creating a flavor that has become uniquely Singaporean. Warm, crispy mantou buns are served alongside the dish, ready to soak up every last drop of sauce, as though no one wants to let any of it go to waste.
Brilliant, G7!
Less elaborate, but no less popular, is Singapore frog porridge. The porridge and the frog are prepared separately. The meat is slowly braised in a clay pot with soy sauce, ginger, spring onions, and chili until it becomes tender and richly coated in its savory glaze. Only then is it served over a bowl of plain rice porridge, where the delicate flavor of the rice balances the richness of the sauce. Yet the true soul of a hawker center is found beyond the food itself. Under the same roof, office workers, construction workers, students, retirees, and visitors from around the world all share the same simple tables. The dishes may come from different cultures, but they all find a place at the same table, much like the people of Singapore themselves. Perhaps that is why, in 2020, UNESCO recognized Singapore's hawker culture as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Not only for its food, but because nowhere else captures the country's multicultural spirit and sense of community quite so completely. Spend enough time in a hawker center, and before long, you begin to notice something beyond the food. The voices around you tell the same story. At first, it sounds like English, but listen a little longer, and you will start to hear words, expressions, and rhythms shaped by Mandarin, Malay, Tamil, and a variety of Chinese dialects. Singaporeans call this unique way of speaking Singlish. It is not the English taught in schools. It belongs to everyday life, heard between neighbors, over coffee, or across the counter at a hawker stall. For Singaporeans, Singlish is far more than a way of speaking. It carries the history of different cultures learning to live side by side and over time becoming something uniquely their own. Watch everyday life in Singapore for long enough, and one word keeps coming up: Kiasu. It goes far beyond the simple fear of missing out. More than anything, Kiasu reflects an instinct shaped by the history of this island nation. Singapore has little land, no abundant supply of fresh water, almost no natural resources, and relies on imports for much of its food. Generations have grown up believing that success comes from studying harder, working harder, and always being ready when opportunity appears, not only for themselves, but for the future of the country as well. That way of thinking quietly reveals itself in everyday life. People will happily wait in line for hours to try a famous dish, buy the latest phone, or collect a limited edition giveaway. Often, it is not because they truly need it. They simply do not want to miss the opportunity. You can even see it inside almost every hawker center. A packet of tissues, an umbrella, an employee badge, or sometimes even a phone or laptop left on a table is enough to let everyone know the seat has already been claimed. Singaporeans call this habit chop. It may seem like a small habit, but everyday details like this reveal a great deal about why Singapore is known as one of the safest, cleanest, and most orderly countries in the world. Behind its spotless streets, in a city that runs with remarkable precision, Singapore has also paid a price for its success. It is one of the most expensive places in the world to live. Housing costs remain high. The pressure to succeed at school and at work is ever present. More young people are choosing to marry later, while the birth rate continues to decline. Singapore has solved many of the challenges faced by a modern city, but its own success has also created new ones. So why do people still choose to stay? The answer is not simply higher incomes or a modern skyline. It is the peace of mind that comes from walking your child to school along clean, safe streets. It is an evening stroll beneath rows of trees. It is knowing your parents are only a few train stops away. For many people who come from abroad, Singapore is a place of opportunity. For those who were born here, it is where generations of family memories were made. Perhaps that is why prosperity alone has never been enough to define life in Singapore. What keeps people here is the feeling of belonging to a society that offers stability, rewards hard work, and gives people the confidence to build a future, all on an island small enough to call home for a lifetime. Singapore may be one of the smallest countries in the world, but its story reaches far beyond its size. What impressed you the most about Singapore? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.